It's Thanksgiving, but it's also Thursday, and that means we get to take on the news from the left, right, and middle. And here to do the honors from the left is Wallace Ford, who is a blogger and a professor at Medgar Evers College. And from the right is Washington attorney Horace Cooper. Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
Happy Thanksgiving, absolutely.
Gobble, gobble.
Yeah. Are you all full? You had all your great meal ready for seconds?
Thirds.
I know that's right. I can give you an amen for that. All right, let's get started. We're going to talk about a couple of serious things, and then we'll do a Thanksgiving theme, left, right, middle as well. Let's start with a very serious story. This is about a 12-year-old boy in Cleveland who was playing out on a playground, had what we now know to be a toy gun. There was a 911 call made saying that there was a kid with a gun, didn't know if it was a toy or not. Police responded, and when it was all over, this little boy was shot dead by the police. It's a true tragedy. My question for you guys today is this another case of law enforcement carelessly or indiscriminately killing another black male? Or is this really more about guns and perhaps gun regulation? Should toys look exactly like the real thing? Horace, I think I'll start with you.
Well, I don't think either one of those is a good way to capture what's going on here. Police officers need to be trained better to understand whether or not the person they're dealing with is really a potential perpetrator. And young children should be told by their parents to make sure that when they're using their toys, that they use them in a way that isn't provocative and doesn't create a tragedy like this.
Very interesting. Wallace.
Well, I mean, you know, it's one of those statements that kind of contradicts itself. Telling a child how to use a toy in a proper fashion is kind of, that would be great in a perfect world, but of course it doesn't happen. But here's the thing. Number one, unfortunately in this country, encounters between black males and law enforcement have too often the potential to be a lethal event. We see it happening in this particular instance. We've seen it just too many times. It is not only with respect to African Americans and guns and law enforcement, but too many times that is the case. But that leads to the second point that you mentioned, Debbie, which is there's just too many damn guns in this country, and the people who manufacture these guns, the companies that manufacture them, continue to pump out these guns under the heading of the Second Amendment. But the Second Amendment really didn't say anything. I've never really said anything about the fact that everybody should have as many guns as they want. And because with the proliferation of guns, we see these lethal results too often. We don't see it in any other country in this world.
And Horace, I want to hear more from you. You were uncharacteristically succinct in your first response. And I want to go back to two things.
Turkey.
First of all, that's right, you had a turkey coma. First of all, though, if this had been a white kid in a white neighborhood with a toy gun, would this kid be dead? Is the question that many of us have to ask, considering all of the shooting incidences that involve law enforcement and black males. So I'll start with there. It's difficult to theorize, but have you heard of that with a white kid before?
Actually, I've heard of it with a white kid in New Jersey. I heard of it with an Asian kid in Los Angeles. And I heard of it with several black kids in Chicago. This does happen, and it's a problem, and it's one that, as I said, it would be worthwhile for parents, and that's part of the responsibility, whether you give a child a toy gun, whether you give them the car keys, whatever things that parents provide their children or give them access to, it's incumbent upon them to make sure that that includes some kind of approach of how to be responsible about that use. But the broader point is this: it is a misnomer to say that a big problem in America today is that law enforcement is innocently gunning down black Americans. When you look at the data points, what you see from the FBI reports and the DOJ reports, and even from census numbers, when it comes to shootings and police officers, the number of blacks that are being shot is actually less than the number of blacks identified as the victimizers in felony cases. So that's just simply not true to make this claim that that's the problem. There is a problem in America, but that's not it.
Well, yeah, so much for succinct. But, you know, the thing is, Horace, I'd say, actually, here's my Thanksgiving gift to you. I do indeed agree that parental responsibility has always got to be a part of the narrative, a part of the discussion, and too often it isn't. Having said that, though, it's not just the numbers. I mean, we could argue the numbers from here to Christmas time, but the point is that there is this concern, there is this fear. I know that I have spoken to my son, as has his mother, since he was of an age to comprehend this, that he needed to be extra careful in his encounters and discussions with police because they could be lethal. There could be a lethal outcome here. And we, as parents, all black parents, are concerned about that with their children. It's just one of the facts of
okay,
you could say it's perception. You could say but Horace, you could say it's perception. If I could just finish, you could say it's perception more than reality, but indeed the risk is perceived.
The risk is more likely that you or I, if we are shot down by a person holding a firearm, that person will be a young black youth. And it would behoove us all to have that conversation with our young people and let them understand that the real risk with black American death is that young black youth are going to be the perpetrators.
But Horace, those two issues aren't mutually exclusive. Just because that is true, black on black crime is indeed an epidemic.
No. You're misunderstanding.
However, the difference with law enforcement is they're there to protect and serve. They should be trained, and we should expect more from our law enforcement than we do to some thug on the street.
32,000 people died last year from firearm-related deaths. Of those, police officers, black on white, were not even 100. Now, when you want to talk about what half of that was black on black. When you want to talk about the real problem, we as a community need to be having this conversation. Why do we place such low value on our own lives that we are allowing this Holocaust to take place in our
There's
community?
no question. I know at Medgar Evers College, where I teach, we did have a forum on Ferguson and beyond in September. And the beyond part, Horace and Debbie, you should know, had to do with just this point, that indeed you cannot ignore, and I do believe there's a very real need for the discussion about these lethal encounters between black males and law enforcement. But there is the other point, which is the greatest danger to my son, again, when we're talking about these things, is not the police, unfortunately. The greatest danger is another young African-American male, and that's a very sad commentary. It's a very sad statement, but as Debbie said, it's not an either-or proposition. These are all things that we need to confront, we need to address, and hopefully in the spirit of Thanksgiving, we may find some solutions.
Yes, indeed. And speaking of the spirit of Thanksgiving, I think I want to take a sharp turn and go to a much lighter note. Let you guys argue some issues that are a little less consequential. This is Thanksgiving.
Bring it on.
All right, you ready? You ready? So people have very definite ideas and opinions about Thanksgiving meals. So here's my proposition to you. I'll start with you, Wallace, this time. Do you prefer a baked turkey or a fried turkey?
Oh, it's got to be baked. It's got to be baked. I mean, fried turkey is just not traditional.
And a sacrilege. It's a sacrilege.
Oh my God, we agreed again. Oh man, wait. Fried. I say fried now.
Let me take the other side then, because those who don't like fried turkey don't know fried turkey.
Okay,
That's the best bird you've ever had.
It's all right for the fried turkey to make an appearance, but what's appropriate is you open that oven and you pull it out and you bring it right to the table. Oh, that is just an
There's a thing about 4
appearance.
gallons of hot grease also, which just always kind of takes the edge off.
You can't fry the turkey on like a wood deck or in the dry grass where you might start a fire, that kind of thing. But ooh, that's some good turkey. Okay, well, here's my next question. Is it dressing or is it stuffing?
I would go with the stuffing. I would go with stuffing, yes, absolutely.
And does the stuffing have cornbread in it?
Yeah, cornbread is fine. Oysters is good.
Oh,
we go a little gourmand on occasion, absolutely. Yes.
Horace, where do you weigh in?
We're going to have an agreement again.
No,
but I think we
no.
need to have
Okay.
pecan pie,
I'm with dressing.
pumpkin pie, and also a little apple pie on the side.
Pecan pie, pumpkin pie, and apple pie. See, you surely are not a son of the South, because where is the sweet potato pie? In fact, I'm going to have to ask for your black card. Gotta have sweet potato pie.
My grandmother used to make those sweet potato pies. Nobody's around to do them anymore.
Oh, that's too bad. Well, listen, we'll leave it right there, all in good fun. Horace Cooper, Wallace Ford, thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving, man.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Enjoy your third helping. We'll see you.
right.
That's going to do it for this holiday edition of Arise America. I'm Debbie Turner Bell. Have a happy Thanksgiving.